Voices. Choices. You'll need to make various decisions throughout Lake of Voices. Here are a few details to keep in mind. Certain choices are timed. Time running out isn't something to completely avoid. In some cases, not getting involved can open new possibilities. Other choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Kika has any special affection for another character or not. If you survive until the second night, the story will branch off into one of 5 different plotlines based on your earlier decisions, if you survive. The QTEs. The other characters cannot manage all situations in the various plotlines, regardless of what you do. If a character isn't making it, try getting that plot with a different set of survivors or having the same group of characters venture through some other storyline. Becoming closer to someone can add and or remove future choice options and change how some scenes play out. Your decision to build a connection may not go unnoticed by the other characters. Earning the full amount of affection with certain characters can require getting into specific plot lines. Page up. Returns the previous text choice. T key opens full text history. My grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forest in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinlos, I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. Yeah, it does sound neat, KV. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword. Something akin to a nervous No, it wasn't you. Kika is the main character. Why you say my name like that?
Have you seen it before?
A sword hilt? Yes. Bemel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or assuaging his own. I hope it's the latter.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
Bechamel scratches his chin casually, as though I asked for what his favorite food is.
I traveled a long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
It'd be cute to let him die, Kia! So I'm not the only one who feels it. A sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, Sinlos. Most try their best to avoid it all their lives. The hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't a secret.
No wonder you were assigned this mission.
Why not just go around? Like he said that it's possible. There are a few who've had first-hand experience with the place, even if from a distance. He'll probably keep being picked whenever they need someone to cross for however long he's with us. Bemel shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
It would be preferable not to risk it. But time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice.
I think so. I know my parents can. I think my siblings can. I don't know. I never really cared. Just like, it's like, fuck it. If you drown, you're drowning. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure my wife can. I think that the kid can. The main family, I'm pretty sure. When you said that, I was thinking back to my past. Hold on a second here. I wonder if I can get a hold of the kid. Yep, I got that. That's my appointment for my physio on Thursday. Appointment reminder, yeah, blah 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 blah. I'll text them because they never pick up when I call. Care about? I don't know. No, I gotta think about the teenage years. One of our allied villages, Hemmer, is being harassed by brigadiers, a band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as an assist, only Bemel and myself. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be of any use. I think my wife did. I sure as hell didn't. I mean, These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down unless they turn into a blood grudge or an all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
I glance at Bamel, an eyebrow raised. A slight smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had.
A smile now tugs at my own lips. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. Bamel appears to feel differently, however.
You know the town on the other side of the lake, though. It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
Yeah, my school did not have a pool at all, as far as I know. As soon as they fall in a puddle. For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Bamel is a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword hand ready, I have no complaints. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A slick wooden dock comes into view, and with it the sounds of water gently lapping at its sides. Bamel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
He's here. Oh. A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it is clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us.
Margaret.
Kika the Steadfast.
Kika.
Bamele.
Oh,
Hello?
Bemele. There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out across the lake, expression unclear. With not much to say, Bemele and I do the same. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across the surface, a sound like whispering. Though perhaps it actually is whispering. I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks in rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. Let him die. It doesn't matter what the noise is. Whether I hear them or not, we're not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling that I can't quite shake tells me that they've already noticed a little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks, and I instead address Bemele. Okay, Dora,
Who's
have fun.
the guide?
Unless he's on the center island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell.
We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
You can't cross with him either.
Oh, really now? The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort.
What?
Oh, she's the guide.
I know the guide will be here
Oh.
tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross.
Oh, never mind. I was like I thought it was gonna be like a play on words, but nope. Just another customer. Bemele and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to make the trip back if you prefer.
I don't need to turn my attention to Bemele to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash.
Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight.
Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further. She's a Karen, no!
We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this.
She clamps her mouth shut and lets out a sigh. I'm gonna save my game.
You can do as you like.
With the matter tentatively settled, Bemele moves away. His finger begins to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans.
What's that bastard even up to?
Midnight Ride, no! I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning.
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across.
Wow. Is, like, cursing, like, bad in this universe?
How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language.
Or is she just, like, ultra mega Karen? Oh, God. I think she's ultra mega Karen.
Do you know anything that's happened with this lake?
I know enough.
That's every universe, Roxy. Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him.
The guide's father is Garvin the Exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Oh, because he called him a bastard because he doesn't have a father. Oh. Oh, it wasn't just an offhanded bastard. It was a directed. Oh. Oh, that was an actual insult. Oh my. Plot twist, you are the guide.
Oh.
Of who? Bemele rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that.
A smile spreads across my face, one I quickly wipe away. He really did just misspeak. Oh, okay. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated and Bemele abashed. Okay, so... our first actual non-timed choice. I was like, who do we wish to fuck? So, that's basically what's gonna break down to is... Oh, good, I was about to say, can I save here? Okay, good, I can save for the choices. So you're quite informed, Margaret.
It's been years since the time of Garvin the Exemplar. It's impressive you knew.
Rather, who you don't want dead. Margaret smiles, lifting her chin into the air. Ooh, she's blushing. An over-exaggerated action is somehow pleasant rather than belittling. The over-exaggerated. She's so much happier than I had anticipated. No hesitation.
Yes, I do like to stay informed. And you knew too. Good. This lake shouldn't be allowed to swallow even history itself.
My town, the one where I was born at least, was also Garvin's hometown. I was very young when he passed. The entire village went into mourning.
It is a good
People
voice.
broke down crying in the streets. I'll never forget it. He meant much to everyone who knew him.
Oh, I have no such connections. I merely read about it.
She pauses, seeming to scan the air in front of her for something to say.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's all right. Thank you.
Like, I recognize this voice actress for, Kika. It sounds really familiar. I don't know if it's Renpei or not. I don't think it is, but... my town may have taken pride in Garvin the Exemplar with what he achieved, but we weren't the ones who lost the most. That would be his family. We each remained locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. That must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it is no longer safe. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinlos?
No, Sinlos, not Sinlos. The man nods. He has a sharp face and weary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
Bemele motions to the two of us, and Margaret approaches, a strained smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guy turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have had to say something otherwise. She really does have preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all 3 of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
Oh shit. Twink spotted. Then, okay, I'll wait. I'm good, thanks. I furrow my brow. It's a disturbing addendum and one offered with little emotion attached. Bemele glares back, asking without asking what we're supposed to do with such circumstances.
You should go around.
I mean, the sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken, if you want to live.
We don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
She meets Bemele's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak, and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
That's interesting. So I was wondering, why don't they just, listen to your heart. Dies, they sink below the surface. Interesting. The guide is dispassionate, stoic. I would almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. Bemele pulls me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed.
His voice is low. He darts a glance at Margaret.
We can easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be a worse fate than her death?
Oh my. Does he have a point? I stare at the dock, refusing to meet Bemele's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible.
We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
What?
Bemele leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again.
The guide won't accept something like that, I assume.
His face is grim.
Then what else do you have in mind?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay, or we both go.
Right. That's not a question.
I cross my arms, my hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bemele's, but there's no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Margaret's life at risk on top of our own. Oh shit! Oh good, I can pause it. Ha ha ha! Okay, do we go? Or, hey Zan, how you doing? Do I say we should go or do I say nothing? Let's go! Shit! Okay, it doesn't pause. Shit. Okay, so fuck it up. Let's I'm gonna load this and we're gonna skip. Oh shit, it skipped because fuck. Okay, hold on a second. You couldn't cheat. Damn.
It's...
Yeah.
People... It's...
I skipped too much.
Hello.
Is the...
Yeah.
Hello.
You should.
We don't.
Okay, so timed ones I'll make myself.
The night.
But non-timed will...
We can.
We don't...
What?
The guy...
But I will
Then
say,
First...
Right.
I believe it's
And
you.
I believe you.
Bemele's reply is firm. My steadfastness seems almost weak in comparison to his certainty. He addresses the guide.
We shouldn't waste more time. Let's shove off.
The guide slowly turns around without even a nod to show his agreement. Margaret stares at Bemele and me, something of a resolve in her gaze. Then she follows after the guide. At least she didn't insist we stay behind.
We should do what we can to protect her. It's our fault she's being put in even further danger.
Exactly my thoughts. We will take care of everything. Maybe I'm being naive, but I have no intentions of letting anyone fall victim to this lake tonight. those monsters can starve.
He turns to follow the others across. I'll protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this. Oh, he be lying. Then I step onto the dock and join them. As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water's surface, as reflective as a mirror. Until we reach land again, death is only one small mistake away. We fall into line with the guide leading the way. Margaret stays close to him, and I behind her, watching to make sure she doesn't slip on the slick, wet wood. Bemele brings up the rear. Twigs. Each of us holds our lanterns in front of us, but it does little good. The fog is thick and nigh impenetrable, consuming the light as if hungry for it. Above the surface of the lake, it's deathly quiet. No longer is there the whispering wind or the sound of water lapping against the shore. It's just our own mismatched footsteps and the sound of my quickened breathing. My eyes drift back to the lake against my better judgment. It's no wonder there's not even the sound of the water with how still the surface is. It seems almost sturdy with the sheen of a black marble floor. I've heard rumors of the water of Sinloss is heavier, more difficult to disturb than natural water, that just the weight of its oppressive cling is enough to keep someone down, even without them. Something even darker than the abyss of the lake flickers just below the surface, or at least I think it does. I turn my gaze to Margaret's back. It's better to stay focused. Lick the lake!
Fall back a bit. You're following me too closely.
The guide is looking over his shoulder, addressing Margaret.
I'm sorry.
If someone gets pulled into the lake, they'll instinctively reach for anything to hold on to. Do not let that be you.
Oh shit, you can get pulled in! I don't care, dude. I would fucking walk around. No. Especially when he says one of you will die tonight and is like, one of you will die tonight. Okay, bye. Walking around. The town can wait, it's fine. I don't care if there's a blood feud, bye. Margaret's shoulders rise and she nods with great seriousness.
I understand. Thank you for the advice.
He ignores her gratitude.
You can speak amongst yourselves if you so choose, as long as you pay attention to where you're going. There is no worth in listening to the sounds out there. If there's anything at all, it'll only be Nixie trying to set you on edge.
All right. Then, could you tell us your name?
See, right, let's
You
go.
didn't have a chance to properly introduce yourself, and I've only heard you being referred to as the guide.
I don't have a name.
Oh, well. He's facing the front again, his voice as expressionless as before. I have no way of guessing how he feels as he says this.
Oh.
I'm naming him Thomas. It's probably not something he wishes to talk about. However, there was something else I wanted to say, so changing the subject is not difficult. Why not? He looks like a Thomas to me.
Margaret, thank you for allowing us to join you.
So's he! He's very... I'm Thomas. I'm the guide. I will guide you. What a wiper. He's white! I mean, it's not like I said his name was Tyrone. Feels more Gabriel. Actually, I would say that does feel better. That does feel like more fitting. In the Constantine movie, he might have hobbies. Why? That's a very. Have you ever met a white guy named Tyrone? Have you seriously? No. What? Oh my god, is this a stream where I get canceled? Holy fuck. They exist! Like a fucking unicorn. Margaret shrugs noncommittally.
It wasn't exactly up to me. The guide said he would take you.
She hesitates and then she looks tentatively over her shoulder at me.
But thank you for saying that. It's appreciated.
Bemele and I will do our best to be an asset on this trip, rather than a burden.
That's nice. I'm not afraid to be out here, though. Still, at least with your training, you should be able to take care of yourselves.
I admire her resilience. Okay, so if this is a lake, is their only source of food just travelers? It's comforting to know that everyone here is so confident in their abilities. Not enough to forget how terrible it feels to be over this lake. You'll find someone, I'm sure. I'm not sure if that is fortunate or unfortunate. Fortunate or unfortunate. Believing yourself to be secure doesn't mean that you are. As the conversation lulls, a new sound breaks through. It's the whispering noise again. It's the chatter of inhuman voices, and this time coming from all around us.
Taking care of yourself is exactly what you need to do.
Welcome back, Dora. The guide is speaking again, except louder, as if to cover the Nixie's voices with his own.
Work to survive at all costs, and hope that everyone around you has enough sense to do the same. That's the only way you'll make it to the other side.
Margaret nods in response, but I hear a grunt from behind me.
Groups tend to go further when they work together to achieve the same goal.
The guy doesn't say anything in response to Bemelay's grumbling either. I'm not sure whether he didn't hear Bemelay or whether he just didn't feel the statements made thus far are worthy of addressing. I have a feeling it's the latter. Undead Crow, Kia! Completely out of nowhere, who's obsessed with purple ladies. We go around a large bend in the bridge, part of it forking off to another way. I wonder how the guide knows which one of these essentially identical paths is correct when something in the corner of my eye catches my attention. Everyone's so moody on this lake. Dora.
I believe I saw something over there.
Keep walking. No need to worry.
And there's just something to no! The guide's voice is calm and level. I decide against pressing the issue, not wanting to set everyone even more on edge.
What did he say?
Perhaps not wanting the conversation to be caught by the guide, he speaks softly, though I couldn't quite hear him because of it. Oh shit! I take my eyes off Margaret ahead for a moment to explain it to Bemelay and stop dead in my tracks. Only one word is able to escape me in my stunned state. Behind Bemelay stands another figure, looming in the darkness. Seeing my face, Bemelay grabs the hilt of his sword. He whips around and then staggers swiftly backwards. Several meters away, a crooked, twisted black figure hobbles its way towards us. Some kind of liquid drips off its head, curling around the edges of its face. It almost looks like it's crying. It's the lake crackhead! It's a new friend. Bemelay backs up until he's standing beside me. The figure continues a slow advance, head jerking from one angle to another.
What on earth?
It's one of them.
Yes, Nixie that stumble across the bridges looking for opportunities.
The guide is standing next to us. I didn't even notice him approach.
The ones that can make it out of the water are generally referred to as prowlers.
Oh, great, so they can actually leave the water. Then why do they only go on the bridge? Why not around the lake edge?
I had no idea things like that were out here. Is that what Kika saw down the other path?
The guy says nothing, instead returning to the front of the party. Margaret watches him pass. Her frustration morphs into nervous optimism when something seems to come into her mind.
Well, Nixie aren't slowed down much by swords, but at least light keeps them away, right?
Margaret's hand grips her face tight, and desperation bleeds into her voice. I bite the inside of my lip.
Direct light will force it to return to the lake. However, it'll try to drag the light, or you, down with it before it goes.
Oh, goody. Instinctively, I reach for the hilt of my sword, despite the fact that it would do little to protect me. The prowler is getting closer, jerking forward, stopping, then resuming its slow advance.
Okay, does anyone have a light we can leave here? That way it won't follow us.
Only matches.
Bemelay spits. He's the one bringing up the rear, so he's the one most likely to be in danger if it keeps following. The guide, however, moves forward.
Don't forget it's there, don't let your guard down, and don't get left behind.
I mean, there's not much else you can do, apparently.
What? How am I supposed to keep walking with this thing at my heels? You said it wants to attack.
Don't hold hands.
Don't give it the chance.
No, because you get dragged down! Bemelay sputters in anger, and the guide summarily ignores him. I solidly grab hold of Bemelay's upper arm.
Here, I'll lead you like this, and you can keep your focus solely on the prowler. Make sure it doesn't get too close.
Bemele eyes the guide with unresolved hostility, but allows himself to softly sigh in relief. He gazes at me with fondness.
At least there's someone I can count on.
Despite the fact I'm going against his advice, the guide says nothing more. It's clear now that he doesn't give a damn what we end up doing. Some part of me is glad for that. Guy's like, look, I'm just guiding you people. You're not even fucking paying me. I want to live. Let's move. Just back there naked and menacing. I want to help everyone make it through, and it would be worse to have to persuade the guide every time help was necessary.
Kika, thank you.
Bemele places a gentle hand on my shoulder. Ooh, did I place my hand over his? Are we romancing him, or are we trying to get into Margaret's boudoir? Really is just a local crackhead. I know you would, Dora. I know you would. It's gonna suck even more when I throw him into the lake. Trying to fuck the twink god. Can you? You'll get him killed, probably, Marion. I'm joking, Dora. I'm gonna say, I mean, what? Margaret's nothing to me. Bemele, we have history. Yeah. I feel Bemele start as I reciprocate his touch, but just as quickly a smile replaces his shock. The moment is pleasant, a small balm against a large burn. I harden my expression and Bemele follows suit. It's choice time! He moves his free arm down. I fully link his arm with mine and now properly settled look forward. Margaret is following the guide with some reluctance, turning back every so often to check on us. I wave my lantern to signal we're catching up. Margaret returns her head to the front and quickens her pace. With a tug on Bemele, we start to follow them. The four of us continue cautiously over the bridges, only this time the wet, squishing footsteps of the Prowler join the sound of our own. In spite of myself, I grip Bemele tighter. The Prowler walks without a set pattern, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. It takes long steps, then short ones. At times, it stops walking entirely. Does it hurt to be out of the water like this, or is it trying to be difficult to read? Suddenly, the whispering of the lake grows louder. I steel myself, trying not to let it get to me. The most important thing in a situation like this is to remain calm. I can't lose my head. Then all at once I notice the guide and Margaret have come to a halt.
Bemele, they're stopping.
Bemele slows down as I do, and as we near Margaret's back, she says with something akin to distress,
There's another one.
I tug on Bemele and he understands. We draw up close to Margaret, ready to protect her if need be, but the guide holds out a hand.
Don't get any closer.
Just over his shoulder, I see another Prowler stumbling towards us, white liquid dripping from its eyes. The guide's hands turn over in the air, palm up.
Give me a lantern. We'll throw it.
Margaret extends her own with a trembling hand when Bemele speaks instead, his back still turned.
If you have to take someone's, take mine.
Yes, an extra light won't do us much good when we're standing this close together.
Confirmed! Margaret takes Bemele's lantern from him, guarded relief displayed on her features.
Thank you.
She hands the lantern to the guide, whose hand grips it tightly, knuckles growing pale.
Stay here. I can't throw it too far, or the light will blow out before it reaches the Nyx.
He steps closer to the monster, his movements light and confident. As he nears, the Prowler starts to back away. Is it only the approaching light that's making it retreat, or are they afraid of him? I feel like I'm picking out a plot, like, I'm finding plot holes. Okay, what if it was just him and Margaret? How would they have thrown another lantern, like, and then would leave her with it? I have many questions, but I'm gonna just let it go. I'm letting it ride. I'm letting it ride. He cares about his own life. The guide is far enough away from us that the fog is partially obscuring him, hiding his movements. The voices from the lake grow louder and louder. Water suddenly begins to splash across the lake, in the distance and onto the edges of the bridge. Hit enter, so help me! They want him to mess up. I didn't notice how tense I am until Bemele eases my grasp on his arm. Then suddenly, the guy takes multiple long and fast strides forward, throws the lantern, and jumps backwards to regain the lost distance. There's a sharp hiss and then a deep splash, and the voices of the Nyx grow quieter. Not silent, but quieter. A sigh escapes me, and the guy comes back to our group.
We should keep going. before it comes back.
I glance at Bemley and he realizes he, too, is looking relieved at the guide before us. Then I see it. The first prowler. It's still there. It's right there. I shift around, pulling Bemley behind me. The prowler lunges after him, barely missing Bemley, but striking my lantern instead. The fire goes out and the two of us are plunged into an unearthly darkness. Then there's a sixth splash. I realize the Nyx has retreated into the water. Somehow, Bemley and I are still standing. We're still here.
Kika, thank you.
I can't respond. Something cold, wet, and slimy has grabbed my ankle. Oh no! I fucked up! Kick it off. I kick my leg out as fast as I can and the Nyx hold slips. But I can't pull with the momentum I gained against it. Margaret rushes to my side, her lantern hanging out towards the Nyx. The light brushes its face and we see for an instant its eyes wide, and then it slides back into the smooth surface of the water. Bemley grabs Margaret and I both, helping us toward the center of the bridge and cussing under his breath.
I only looked away for 1 second.
What a thing to forget about, right?
It's fine, Bemele. We're all fine.
Bemele. I like Bemele.
Are you actually alright?
Margaret cocks her head down, examining my ankle, but there's nothing but a wet smudge across my trousers.
I am fine.
Ben Melee. I say that, although I don't actually want to let go of Bemele. I need to in order to relight our lantern and provide us actual safety, but I feel such a strong desire not to be alone in this moment. I shake my head roughly and let go of him, relighting the lantern as fast as I'm able.
Kika, thank you. Again. You saved my life. I won't let this happen again.
Yes. Yes. It would be good for all of us to pay more attention.
Margaret nods solemnly. Suddenly, it seems like we're all on the same side. It isn't only Bemele and I. She is with us in more than simply presence. The guide's voice, as cold as that monster's grasp, ends my train of thought.
We lost the lantern I threw. The Nyx grabbed it after the light went out.
Oh no. Margaret makes a noise. I glance over, wondering whether she's upset, but there's a small smile on her face instead.
It's better than them taking anything else.
That is kind of true. A nervous laugh bubbles up out of me, and just as quickly stops. Bemele chuckles in response, and our collective tension eases up, the adrenaline draining from our bodies.
We need to keep walking.
The guide starts down the bridge again, and then we join him. I try to clamp down on the relief, the ease that wants to flood my head. It's not over. Just in case. The prowler is gone, but so is Bemele's lantern.
You can stay near me, Bemele, since your lantern is lost.
I appreciate it.
Margaret goes on ahead of us. Bemele stays by my side, and I keep at the end of the line. What is to have him walk in between? The breath of release from Margaret and Bemele is quickly swallowed by the somber atmosphere of Sinlos as well, replaced by the gravity of the near-death experience. Never mind celebrating his survival, something like that shouldn't have happened in the first place. The memory of the prowlers reaching out towards us appears each time I close my eyes.
Why does it look like something's dripping down their faces?
The prowlers are on Margaret's mind, too. Looking at her pained expression, it's as though the moment of relief never existed at all.
I'm not sure.
Me neither. Something's wrong with them, though.
You think?
They live in water. Air shouldn't be good for the things, but they want to drown humans so much they're willing to drag themselves around on land? It's not right.
It's not right! Of course it isn't. They're monsters. They likely do not understand even the concept of right and wrong.
Well, I don't disagree that there's something very wrong about them. I truly hope that's the last we'll see of the prowlers.
Oh, come here. Something comes to her mind, causing Margaret to end a part of her conversation early.
Since you two have to share a light, wouldn't it be safer to be in the middle?
Wow! I just thought that! It isn't. Margaret stops and waits for Bemele and I to reach a position.
That way, you'll catch the edges of my light and the guides, and it won't be so dangerous if Bemele loses his position momentarily.
That's a very kind offer, Margaret.
Bemile's surprise is so apparent. I want to cover my face with my hands to stop from insulting her. She merely smirks. I think Margaret may be surprised with herself, too. Cover his face with my hands to stop him from insulting her. Bemile returns to his usual surety.
As thoughtful as it is, I, at least, am fine with bringing up the rear. I'm used to keeping watch for monsters, and since there are two of us, I can pay attention to the back while Kika focuses ahead.
I actually do. It's not like the, cowboy cocksucker, type of Tourette's, but I actually do have Tourette's. It's more of the, like, if you ever actually watch me, I'm constantly fidgeting, and sometimes, like, when I was a kid, it was really bad. It was bad vocally. I used to, like, really roll my R's and stuff like that, but I actually would, I do have Tourette's, so yay!
It's not my light, though, so I shouldn't be the one to decide what she should do with it.
Oh, okay, to decide, okay. Margaret and Bemile turn to look at me in unison. Seems like it's my decision. Oh, no, don't be sorry, it's fine. No, it's funny. I'm okay with it. I made peace with this decades ago. I'm fine with it. Don't you worry one bit. But it makes sense, you know. Yeah, see, I don't think it's the first time we talked about it either. How dare you? Where's my recompense? I believe that the only thing that can heal my wounded heart is immediately buying me. Neither of them are wrong. As for me, my goal is to protect everyone. I can't very well do that with Margaret following behind us. Same thing. Hello, Narnar. Hello, Narnar. Why'd I read it as hello, Narnar? But being stuck in the middle of the group could also be dangerous depending on what circumstances we come across. Getting pincered by the enemy would almost be a sure death, no matter how experienced Bemile and I are. I just don't know what to expect from this bridge, and it makes things so much more difficult. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't stuttering. I was just like Bemile. But sometimes I'll get like a word stuck, and I'll repeat it a couple of times, and then it's free. I just gotta keep pushing it out. The current format has worked so far. I'm gonna stick with it.
So you're staying behind?
I think that it makes sense because she's not armed. At least while swords may not do much, they could do something maybe. Who knows, you know? Hey, Fang, how you doing?
Seems like it.
Yes, I think we'll be good here. But really, thank you. That was a very kind offer.
I don't want Margaret. I think I can. The guy was so sure of himself that someone is gonna die. I'm gonna save everyone.
Well, all right.
Margaret respects our decision and trots ahead a bit to catch back up with the guide. He who has paid no mind to the entire affair. I do, yes. I don't know if chat does, like if you guys are enjoying it or not, but I mean, 18 people are watching, so something's got to be entertaining. Good luck. Can you though? Just just a simple yes or no. Can you save everyone? I would hope so.
So, I don't want to sound like a child, but how much longer until we arrive at the halfway point?
I think it's because... Oh, you can't. Oh, okay. So we will have to make a choice eventually. Fuck the guide. Prove the game's star page wrong. I think it's because it's voiced, and it's voiced very well. The HawkZombie deplore. Yeah, I've got Tourette's, yay. But the more physical version of Tourette's. Margaret chuckles, reflecting the amusement I don't want to vocalize.
We still have some ways to go.
God, he's a poophead!
Damn.
I suppress my laughter yet again at his pouting response. The gloom we've been under dissipates slightly, with like light flickering through the fog. Pass for a link? A little bit, video. Actually, yeah, a little bit.
The first trial tends to be the most difficult. I believe we will only react better from this point on.
I like the way you think.
Then a gleam enters Bemelé's eyes and he grins.
I think Kika deserves a round of applause. Her quick reflexes are owed the utmost appreciation.
He leans softly into my shoulder, trying to get me to... What?
It was indeed a sight. You're
That's
quite
fine.
capable. Bemelé was also a sight, but for very different reasons. The way he froze with his mouth all agape was a laugh in itself.
Oh no. Bemelé shakes a fist at Margaret in mock anger, then shoots me an affectionate look.
You should know, she and I are usually on equal footing.
Wow.
The only reason you had footing at all is because she pulled you back.
Wow. Margaret's getting catty. Bemelé laughs self-consciously, scratching his head.
That's very true. You can always count on Kika.
I keep my eyes steadily ahead, unsure how I should respond. I'm pleased, almost grateful to hear what they think of me, but I don't know what I could say that wouldn't seem pathetic. Instead, I contribute the best way I can. I keep my focus on the path ahead of us. They're friends. Without a response from me, the conversation quickly dies out. Still, it eases my heart to be on such friendly terms with my companions. After some time, I notice Margaret isn't keeping up with the guide as much as she was before. I realize it's because the guide has increased his pace. Margaret begins a jog in an effort to keep up with him, and Bemelé and I do the same. Despite this, the guide keeps getting further away. We go faster and faster until suddenly we're sprinting across the slick wooden boards. Figures in the dark fog fly past us in a blur, and it occurs to me that the branching paths of the bridge appear to be... sinking? Oh, they waited too long. I try hard to swallow my rising panic. The guide shouts something, but is drowned out by the frantic pounding of their footsteps. I'm trying to piece together what he said. Don't stop. Turn? When he takes a masterful sharp right down a different path using his own momentum and the sleek wood to slide into the new direction with no loss of speed. Margaret must not have worked out the warning either. She is completely caught off guard by the guard's sudden change in course. She runs straight ahead past the turn and continues down the path we've been following up until now. She clumsily begins to halt her momentum down the wrong bridge. Then I come upon the fork. Turn! I make a hard turn, following the guide and leaving Margaret at the rear. Bemelé's footsteps stay as loud as they were before. He's made the turn, as close as behind me as ever. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Margaret turn around to try to come back to us, only to have the bridge in front of her fall away. Oh no! I slow down for breath, feeling the impulse to turn back, but ignore it. There's no time. Margaret can make the jump and then she'll rejoin us. I keep my eyes glued at the guide's back, ears perked for Margaret's footsteps approaching behind us. And then I hear it. A scream. I whip around, sliding to a stop. Margaret is sinking. The bridge she's on is sinking into the water. She's disappearing. She didn't jump.
What are you doing?
Margaret's head shoots up, her face drained of all color.
Jump!
She stumbles near the edge of the bridge, staring at the placid water of the lake. Even from a distance, I can see her shaking. I can't say if it's from the bridge's descent or her own fear. She barely seems to remain standing. I swallow painfully. Margaret bends and tries to jump. She curves in a small arc, arcing more height than she should, and lands directly in the lake with a muted splash. Oh god, it's like... bloop. Well... we know who... Shit! I shouldn't have turned! Bemelé starts beside me, but I grab his hand and pull. We start running again, leaving Margaret flailing in the water behind us. We don't need to watch this. We both know exactly what will happen to her now. Margaret's anguished cries pierce the night, then the screaming stops. My legs grow weak. It isn't right, but I push myself to keep going. Inevitability! Bemelé curses between heavy breaths, calling those things every foul name in his large book. I try to focus on the pounding of my feet, but my brain won't cooperate. Instead, I imagine Margaret's terror. She's clawed to pieces by the Nixie. After everything, I didn't help her. We left her in the dark. I shouldn't have turned. No! As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Oh no, I'm not gonna reload that. Like trying to think, oh, I can pause the choice. I can't. The reloading, that was one thing, but yeah. Almost as if in response to my thought, the guide abruptly halts. I skid to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood.
Why did we stop?
Bemelé's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guide doesn't answer, just stares at... What? Shit. I missed it. How come I can't... There we go. The guy just stares at something slightly out of view. I speed up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. There we go. There, curled in a little ball, illuminated by the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head, and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently.
It's a man.
So, I probably would have died with Margaret, or I probably... I want to find out what happens if we go, like, if we don't turn, though. Nope, we're playing the ball where it lies.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Please. I'm sorry.
I'm struck with an array of questions. What is going on? Why would he wander out onto these bridges on his own? Did he make it this far by himself? Were there others with him? If that's somehow the case, I don't blame him for the state of shock he's in. The man stops mumbling. He glances above him, seemingly only now just having the strength to lift his head. Oh yeah, of course. His expression.
I'm sorry.
The deepest sadness, along with the clear markings of terror, are scrawled across his face. I stare at him in shock, not sure what to do.
Leave him.
I snap my eyes away from the man and instead to the guide's cold, implacable face.
No! We can't just leave him here. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
He won't make it regardless.
The guide turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closest of his lantern. For the first time, I feel uncomfortable in his presence.
Whoever shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
I glance at my partner. Bemele is outraged. I try to think of some kind of compromise when the guide speaks again, his voice cutting.
If the man comes, then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges.
Oh shit, you know what, fuck that!
I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't. If you ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
Yeah, Adrenaline surges through my veins and I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but merely to show us the way. We're on our own. Bemele and I frantically share more looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. Neither of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now, though he's still hunched with his arms wrapped around himself as if expecting a blow. He stares at the ground rather than at us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
He glances up. Not at me, but towards me. His eyes resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
Eyes are up here, shitbag!
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much, but that's not exactly a fair shake. Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. But that's not how things always go. Doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
Sir, he's only 6 inches taller than you. The man's response is meandering. The words themselves seem to be in good jest, but he's still barely looking at us, fidgeting with his hands. Bemele frowns, unimpressed.
It was a joke.
Wow. He smiles hesitantly, making eye contact with each of us for the first time.
What part of it was supposed to be the joke? Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
Also, how did the guide become the guide?
Never mind. Forget that too. Point is, I'm alright.
You have found yourself out alone and unlit on Sinlos.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Oh no, sounds like you've been talking with my father.
He lets out a weak little laugh, coupled with an eyebrow raise, voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. It ain't becoming your lifestyle. The man gives a small wave and begins down the path we came. Bemele huffs, tossing his hands into the air.
That's not even the right way.
It is for me.
Oh, he came out here to die.
Oh? You must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore you started on.
The man's smile grows.
Good. That's not so bad.
3 raccoons in a trench coat! There's no response to this remark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs a light, and the guide himself said he won't be able to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
Oh, is it though? Is it though? The last we ever saw of Margaret. I feel bad for her. I should have not turned. I was thinking, oh, she'll catch up. And if I don't turn, I'll slide into her or some shit. No, she just sinks and gets torn apart. I look over the man's body, noting the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking in muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to leave us has faded yet again, and now he's standing quietly, looking at us as if watching a play. Interest, but no true connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering? It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
Emily's hand turns into fists. He looks away but doesn't say anything. For a moment, no one does. I feel a cold sweat on my brow as what I had feared comes to pass. He's not stopping us from protecting... You know what? And the guide is fucking smart. His lantern is on a staff, which can be extended. I would think people would be smarter about crossing this lake, you know? If I would go with like 8 lanterns, all like attached to me with like sticks jutting out, so I could swing around, and like sharp tacky shoes so I wouldn't slip. Boom! I'd be like Lantern Man. Like Cthulhite. Torah. I hate lanterns. Anyway. I feel a cold sweat on my brow as what I feared comes to pass. He's stopping us from protecting another. Why must he get involved now? Why can he not leave us to make our own decisions? Because you're gonna die, and it's like, all I heard is you wouldn't last 30 seconds out there.
You... Don't worry about me. I'll be on my way now.
I'm just letting you all know, I don't care. This guy, fuck this guy, okay? I don't care about Scrawny Man in this playthrough. We have a mission. We've already lost someone. Fuck it, I'm not taking a chance on Scrawny McGee. The man's voice is full of something I cannot place, and he starts to shuffle back down the way we came, arms still clenched around himself. They don't sync all the time. Yeah, that's another thing I don't understand is the bridges. Are the Knicks, do the Knicks put them out there as like kind of a trap, but people can still cross them, or I don't know. I know the guide wants to act as though there is no option, however, I could stay back with him. I'll put Bemele and myself at significantly more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. You know what? No. I know Bemele's gonna hate it, but I can't risk it. Bemele stares at the man as he leaves. We both watch him drag his little frame down the bridge, quickly fading from sight. We had to let him go. We've already suffered the loss of one of our own. The space the man vanished into is dark and silent. We can see and hear nothing of him, not even his footsteps. However, if I had saved Margaret, I would have taken him with us as a sacrifice. The guy was right. There are no other options. Well, that is what I have to believe. We need to get through this somehow, and being weighed down with guilt will only distract us. The guy starts moving again at a quick pace. After a moment's hesitation and one last glance to the truly lifeless fog, we run to catch up to him. We walk onwards in silence. Our party hasn't changed. The stranger was never added to us, so it's not as if that makes sense to miss him. But there's a sense of loss all the same. No one even attempts mirth. I keep thinking I should have done more. Should have pushed the guard harder to change his mind so it was less dangerous to keep the man around. Something, anything. But I have to let this go. I'm not going to forget that man. I'll never forget him. But we still need to get through this. I mean, it's like they tell you in a situation of like when you're being attacked, or like say like we have mild active shooter training at my work, and they say don't help others. And it sounds cold and heartless, but it's about saving yourself too. You know what I mean? Like if someone goes down, don't stop to grab them and help them. Get yourself to safety first, and then try and do something, you know? The training, it was kind of like harrowing when you think about it. It's like, they were very adamant, like, yeah, don't be another casualty. Save yourself first, then help when you can. And that's how I feel about this. Like, why the fuck was he out this far anyway without a light? Actually, wait, why was he out this far without a light? That makes me wonder. Oh my god, I should have taken him with us. Shit! I will forever question my decisions and everything. I curl my hands into fists, hoping it will strengthen my resolve. Then I push forward. Yes, exactly, KV. Exactly. You gotta make sure you're okay first, then help someone if they need assistance. Exactly. Because if you're helping someone else and then you lose your oxygen and pass out, who's gonna help you now, you know? Oh, could be Fjord, could be.